Carly here with my sidekick, Dobby. Today, I'm talking about Majesty by Katharine McGee. Whew. For anyone who doesn't know, this is the second in, I think it's a duology, though now I'm really hoping that there's like an extended epilogue coming. But I'll get back to that later. The first book was called American Royals, and it is about an alternate universe America where George Washington, upon becoming the leader of America, gave in to the people that were asking him to be king. And therefore, we have had a royal family for the past 250 years. So this is following George Washington's descendants, who are the royal family now. It specifically follows the oldest daughter, who is set to be the first queen when her father dies. The second child, who's also a girl and a twin, Samantha, who's kind of living in her sister's shadow but trying to get out of it. Nina, Samantha's best friend, who has kind of been pulled into this royal family but doesn't really feel like she belongs. And Daphne, Jefferson is the other twin, his girlfriend, who has been trying to claw her way into royalty for years. That's the first one. If you've read The Thousandth Floor by Katharine McGee, you know that her books are full of drama and intrigue and relationships falling apart and coming together and secrets and all of that. It's all in here too. It's all there. I live for the drama. It's all here. So the second one starts up shortly after the end of the first one, not immediately after. I think there's like 6 weeks in between the two books, actually. But without giving any spoilers away yet, I'm just going to say that as I came to the end of the first one, I didn't realize it was a duology at first. So I thought, I know how this is gonna end. I have it all figured out. This needs to happen and it's fine. And then that all blows up and it clearly doesn't look like it's gonna end like that at the end of the first one. But still, going into the second one, I was like, okay, I had how I thought the first one was gonna end. I still think we're gonna get there. I know how this is gonna work out. I have an idea. Nope, I had absolutely no idea. 20 pages into this book, I'm just like, this is not gonna go the way I expected it to. And I'm still deciding if that's a good thing or a bad thing. All I'm gonna say about this one, until I get into spoilers, is it does follow the same main 4 people, and things don't go the way I expected them to. At all. Not at all. I think that's all I can say without giving away spoilers. I'm going to give my official spoiler warning now. If you have not read Majesty, this gorgeous, gorgeous book, please go away, go read it, and then come back and we'll talk about it. Okay? Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye. I was positive at the end of American Royals, I was like, okay, Beatrice doesn't even really want to be queen. It's too much pressure for her. And she doesn't want to marry Teddy. Samantha wants to marry Teddy and wants the power. So clearly, Beatrice is just going to step down and Samantha's going to take over and have the crown and the guy, and Beatrice can go be happy with her guard. Perfect. Wonderful. Well, and obviously Nina and Jefferson were going to be together and happy, because obviously, and Ethan and Daphne would end up together, because cool. How many of those things were right? 0. 0. I was completely wrong on this one. I'm usually pretty good at predicting books. I'm not used to being completely wrong. So going in, I was like, all right, everything's a little weird now because their father died, which sucks, obviously. It's still gonna get there. And then I think the first thing I noticed was like Beatrice actually falling for Teddy. And I'm like, well, this complicates things. I mean, she still loves Connor, so like there's that. But we can't have our like happily ever after Teddy and Samantha moment if Beatrice is like actually falling for him and like was supposed to be the one to marry him. So what happens now? Then of course, Samantha makes this whole fake relationship. Write in the comments a book where there is a couple that forms a fake relationship where the couple doesn't end up falling for each other. I don't have anything wrong with this trope. I love this trope. I'm just wondering if it ever doesn't happen in a book. In real life, probably. In a book, not sure. Comment below if you know of one where that's the case. Spoiler, but whatever. So they end up falling for each other, obviously. And I will say, when they were in the pool, because like you saw it on Sam's side, obviously, when she saw them and realized that she thought he was just doing it for the camera, my heart was torn. Hers was too, but my heart was absolutely torn. And I was just like, really? Is that, I mean, I knew he would fall back eventually, but at that point, it hurt. It's like, ugh, it sucked. But he says he was already falling for her at that point, so yay! One of my complaints in a lot of books, and this was one of my complaints in her other series a little bit, is when two characters clearly have feelings for each other, and it's like so obvious that a misunderstanding that comes up is just the character being stupid and like not understanding what is really happening. But that wasn't the case in this book. Like every single time there was a misunderstanding, it was like a completely reasonable misunderstanding. And like I was right there with them being like, oh, I kind of thought that was the case too. Interesting. Like, and again, I knew it would get there eventually. That wasn't there, and I loved it. Again, so I thought that they were all going to end up with the person that they were in love with in the first one. I shouldn't have. Like, I realize that now. Like, there's a whole book. Things were bound to change. What I didn't expect was that it was for it to change for every single couple. Even halfway through, even 3/4 of the way through, I'm like, okay, so they're clearly not going to all end up with the person I wanted them to, but some of them have to, right? Like, some of them have to make their way home. I was like, Connor's going to show up. Oh, but then Samantha, I'm like, Teddy can't end up alone. He's too sweet for that. Ugh, I feel terrible for Connor. Poor Connor, but he's going to find someone. He's going to be completely away from there, not a part of it. That was the issue for, like, Nina and Teddy and whoever, is, like, their past relationships, you couldn't get away from them. You couldn't, because they were near those people all the time. Connor is able to just, like, go away, move on with his life. I mean, Beatrice is the freaking queen. He'll see her in, like, magazines and on the news and everything. Oh, did my thing just die? But he doesn't have to actually be, like, in her life and have her be in his life beyond, like, afar. I thought that the best chance was probably Jefferson and Nina, but at the same time, I wasn't sure I wanted that one, because as Nina started to see, like, Jefferson never actually got her, and in fact, he never really got anybody, it seems. Part of me feels bad for Jefferson at the end, but then I also kind of don't. I mean, I do, but I don't. Because again, he's being manipulated completely. Like, Daphne is awful and manipulating him, and he doesn't know what it's like to be in a real relationship where you care about the person and they care about you. I think Nina was as real as he had in this duology, but I still don't think he knew how to love somebody fully and, like, actually give your heart to the point where you care about them as much as yourself, or even more than yourself in some cases. And he would never get there with Daphne. And if he did get there, she wouldn't be there with him. And I don't think either of them are going to get there. I think that that is a doomed relationship, and Jefferson isn't even going to know, which hurts. I'm also upset that he and Ethan didn't make up. I kept expecting somebody to tell Jefferson what was going on. Like, I I'm sorry. Daphne did all of this shit, like, what has been manipulating him for the past, like, 4 years or whatever, and drove a wrench between him and both his ex-girlfriend, who he probably still had feelings for at that point, and his best friend. And I get that, like, they should have told him. They totally should have told him, but they were going to. They were trying to figure out how. There were so many times I was like, Ethan, tell him what Daphne is doing. And then when Nina found out, I'm like, go tell Jefferson, tell him. And now she and Samantha are going on their trip together, which I think was brilliant to have the two of them go. I really thought that she was going to ask Marshall to go with her, but she asked Nina, which is probably like 10 times better. So I'm happy about that. But they're gonna go on their trip. At some point, Nina's going to tell Sam what happened with Ethan. I assume Sam, finding out this new information about Daphne, who she was like just starting to trust a little bit, is going to tell Jefferson, right? This book can't be over. There were, like, certain storylines can be over. Like, Beatrice and Teddy, like, we know where that's going. They're not getting married yet, but they will in their own time. I get that. Sam and Marshall, like, I'll talk about that again in a moment. I love their relationship. But Ethan and Nina, like, we know that they're probably going to come back together and it'll be fine once Nina's able to kind of work past this whole thing and understand that in the end he chose her, and they were basically in the same boat where they were just blinded by this person that they thought they loved, but in the end it wasn't real for either of them. So I think that they'll be okay, but it has to get back to Jefferson, what Daphne has done. It has to. There's no way that nobody tells him. Ethan, Nina, Samantha are all going to know about the situation. And Beatrice! Seriously? I feel like how did she not say something? Well, I guess she never actually saw Daphne at the wedding. But I feel like the first time Jefferson brings Daphne to a family event, Beatrice would just be like, no, I want her out of here. So I think that Daphne pulled in too many of the royals into her shit, and it's going to be her downfall. I don't see it lasting, and I'm okay with that. Totally okay with that. I do want to talk about Sam, because I think that storyline, again, they all went a completely different way than I was expecting, but I think that's the storyline that surprised me the most. It shouldn't have, but it did, because I don't know why I was convinced of her love for Teddy, but I was. I think I'm always inclined to be like a first love type of person, where like whoever you like see them meet first is like who's meant to be together. So in the first book, I'm like, obviously Teddy and Sam are in love. They saw each other first, and they were so flirty and cute and wonderful, and he doesn't actually want to be with Beatrice, it's obvious, and Beatrice doesn't want to be with him, and everything's fine, and Teddy and Sam are going to end up together. But I loved Samantha's development there, where it turned out that it was never about Teddy. It was about one more thing that she wanted that Beatrice got. I loved that. I absolutely adored Samantha's development in this book. Again, she went from still this just like lovesick puppy who's begging for something that her sister gets, and by the end, she was so strong and helping her sister make decisions and then stepping in for her sister on this tour. It was just fantastic. Her character arc was amazing. Similarly, Beatrice, she should have fired Robert so much sooner. I saw it early. I was like, no, he's a problem. Get rid of him now. But I thought she was going to do it the moment she marched into Congress and he was there. I was like, fire him now. And she didn't. She got there eventually, but even she acknowledged, like, she should have done it a long time ago. Yeah, it was a little Princess Diaries 2, rather, where they're not quite walking down the aisle, but practically walking down the aisle, and she's just like, you know what? I'm gonna do this without a consort. Just me. I got this. I'm queen. Different from Princess Diaries 2, where she actually didn't love the guy and they were literally just doing it. She had learned to love Teddy. That was so cute too. And then Samantha setting the alarm off. Genius. Genius. I love the development of their relationship too, because they still hate each other at the beginning. And by the end, like, Robert marches her in and is like, she did the alarm. And Beatrice is just like, how did you know that I would have wanted you to do that? I love sister relationships. I think I went through everybody. Daphne's messed up. I don't know what I want to happen with her. I don't want her to be with Jefferson. He is sweet. He doesn't know anything about love or girls, but he is really sweet. I want him to, like, learn about love and girls, but not with Daphne. I want her to also find somebody that she actually likes and appreciates from the beginning, not when it's too late. But I don't know about that. I need an epilogue. I don't need a whole nother book. I need an epilogue that starts with Sam and Nina coming back from the tour. That is the timeline I need. Sam will be thinking about her time in Orange with Marshall, who will probably be back in the capital when she arrives waiting for her. And Nina will be coming back and maybe not accepted yet, but is willing to hear Ethan out now that she's had a lot of time away. Daphne and Jefferson are broken up because Jefferson now knows everything and is talking with Ethan again. They're not best friends like they used to be, but they're civil. And Beatrice and Teddy are now just starting to talk about actual wedding plans. This is the epilogue that I need. Just like 15, 20 pages. That's it. Oh, and Jefferson is like something about a new girl. There has to be something about like a sweet new girl that we don't know yet that is in the picture and a good match for him because he hasn't found a good match. Maybe a princess from another area. That would be good. He could date a princess from another country. Or like a Marshall level type person, like Sam. Somebody who isn't just trying to get in because they're already in on their own. I like that. Let's make that happen. Katharine McGee, if you're watching, that's what I need from you. Looking it up, it doesn't look like there's supposed to be another book. Again, I need an epilogue. Some of the characters seem to have endings, others didn't, or at least not acceptable ones. And I just need a little bit more, just a teeny tiny bit more. Anyway, that's it. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. You can follow me on Twitter at ReaderGonnaRead, just like my YouTube channel. And subscribe by clicking down below or up there. I will talk to you next time. Bye! Hey, Ellie and Dobby here. Like the video? Come subscribe. Do it right now. Click it.